Sometimes, behind the things we fear the most, lies the truth we need the most. This is the touching story of a young man who returned after 5 years to pay for his past with just $12. To be honest, I really thought he might have a weapon in his hand to harm me. It was 7:45 p.m. on a Tuesday night, only 15 minutes left until closing. In the library, there was nothing but the hum of the heater and the scent of old paper. At that moment, along with the chime of the alarm, the automatic doors slid open. His cap was pulled low, hiding his face. He wore a mechanic's jacket stained with oil, and he walked in with his hands thrust into his pockets. He didn't look more than 19. He stood at the entrance for a moment, looking up at the security cameras and scanning the room. In a neighborhood like this, you need to read body language quickly. We aren't just librarians. We have to be social workers, security officers, and psychologists. I kept one hand ready near the emergency button under the desk and, "How can I help you, son?" I asked softly. He flinched. He walked toward me. It wasn't an aggressive stance, but his steps were so heavy, like someone carrying the weight of the whole world. He stopped in front of the circulation desk, but Ewald and T look at my face. "I've something to return," he said in a whisper. His voice was trembling. He slowly pulled his hand out of his jacket pocket. I braced myself, watching him with a bit of fear. What came out of the jacket wasn't a weapon. It was a book. He placed the book on the counter in front of me. It was the first book of a famous series about witchcraft and magic, but the book was in terrible shape. The spine was held together with tape. Some pages were doggered and torn. The pages were swollen, looking as if they had been soaked and dried a dozen times. The cover had lost its white color and turned a yellowish tint. When I scanned the barcode, a red warning popped up on the system. The status showed as missing. The last recorded date was November 12th, 2019. "I stole it," he confessed. "It was 5 years ago. I just put it in my backpack and walked out. The sensors didn't go off because I peeled the tag off in the bathroom." I looked at the computer screen. Then I looked at the boy. "Why come back and return it only now?" I asked. "I turned 18 last week," he said as he reached into his pocket. He pulled out crumpled bills and coins, ones, fives, and some change. "I'm working at the auto shop on 5th Street now. I want to fix the mistake I made. I want to be an honest young man. That book is the only thing I've ever stolen in my life. Every time I think about the book, I can't sleep." He pushed the pile of money toward me. It was exactly $12. "Is this enough for the fine?" he asked. Looking at the system, the book's value was $28.99. There was a $10 service fee and a $15 late fee. The total amount due was $53.99. In these difficult economic times, $54 can buy a week's worth of groceries for one person, or a full tank of gas. I looked at the $12 on the counter, then I looked at the book. When I opened it, he hadn't just read the words. He had devoured the book from beginning to end. There were black grease stains on the pages. It looked like it had been read during lunch breaks at the shop. There were even circular marks where something had been placed on it. And on the inside of the back cover, I saw words written in uneven handwriting. Most likely, he wrote it years ago. It said, "You are not alone." "I didn't have a home back then," he said softly. He seemed to notice me staring at the handwritten note in the book. "My mom got sick. We were evicted from the apartment. We had to live in a van. No internet, no TV. We only had cold nights." He looked me in the face for the first time. I read this book about 40 times. Every time I wanted to give up on my hardships, I read about the boy who lived in a cupboard under the stairs, but became someone special. That book saved my life. I'm sorry I stole it, but back then, I really needed it. My heart felt tight. Our world loves rules so much. We have policies for book costs and fines. Systems are built to protect property. But why do we collect these things? Why do we protect them? For what? It's not to keep books in perfect condition on a shelf. They are meant to save lives, to give hope to a boy sleeping in a van so he can survive another night. I looked at the computer. I looked for the delete button. "Actually, you came at the perfect time," I said, lying with a straight face. He blinked and asked, "Me?" "Of course." The The government just started a new Start Life literacy program for youth. It's a program where if people under 21 return long overdue books, all fines must be waived. I typed quickly on the keyboard. I wasn't typing anything important. I was just deleting the fines from the system. There. You don't owe anything. It's down to 0, I said. The boy was speechless. But I stole it. You just borrowed it for a very long time, I corrected him. And it looks like you put this book to good use. I pushed the $12 back toward him. Keep your money. Gas prices are up, aren't they? Use it for your commute. He was hesitant, then said, Really? I don't want to owe anyone. You don't. But you have to give me one promise. He was confused. What is it? I pulled a new book from under the desk. It was the second volume of the series. You have to keep reading, and this time you'll have to borrow it properly with a library card. Tears welled in his eyes. He quickly wiped them with his greasy sleeve. Can I still get a library card? In my past, there are mistakes. A library is for everyone, I said, especially for those who truly know the value of a book. I handed him the form to apply for a library card. He filled out the form, took back his $12, and borrowed another book. Before he left, he turned back and smiled at me. He wasn't hanging his head anymore. Thank you for giving me a chance to start over, he said. See you in 2 weeks, I replied. He walked out into the cold night, not as a thief, but as a reader. That happened 6 months ago. Now, he comes to the library every Tuesday. He washes the grease off his hands before touching a book. Sometimes, the best thing we can do isn't holding on to rules strictly. It's knowing when to bend the rules to save a person. The library isn't for statistics. It's for hope. And hope should always be free. Thank you for watching.